Welcome to the XL Pro podcast, where every career has a turning point, a decision, a failure, a breakthrough. The moments that don't just shape careers, they define them. Each week, we sit down with founders, executives, and professionals from all walks of life to uncover the real stories behind their journeys. If you're building something, leading a team, or navigating your own path, you're in the right place. I'm Hasib Jangda, and this is the XL Pro podcast. And before we dive in, make sure to subscribe, like, and follow the podcast so you don't miss the conversations that could change your next move. Let's get into it. Hi, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the XL Pro podcast. Today, we have a very special guest with us, Mr. Caleb Ighaede. Ighaede. I always mess up your last name, and I'm so sorry. I'm going to get it right, I promise. Caleb is one of our newer team members. He joined our company maybe, 3 months ago, 4 months ago? Yeah. But you might be one of the most interesting ones. So we really wanted to have you on our show today. And we really appreciate you making the time for us. You know, oftentimes we find ourselves stuck in one place and we never really get to venture out. We never get to explore new areas and cultures and such. And you're one of those people that's the exact opposite. You've had the pleasure of traveling throughout the world almost, it seems like. So would love to hear more about your experiences and your perspectives on life and just different cultures. But before that, I think it's very important to introduce you properly. Caleb is our company's one of our company's IT administrators. Does an amazing job. He's come in. Everyone in our team really loves Caleb and his personality, so he's been a great addition to the team. Caleb, we like to normally start off some of these podcasts with some icebreakers. So I've been doing the two truths and a lie, and I'm a little salty because I got the last one wrong. So we're not going to do that anymore. But why don't we start with you telling us a fun fact about yourself?
Oh, okay. There are a few fun facts about myself, but first of all, thank you all, and thank you, especially for having me on this platform. It's a great privilege, and I would say that I've seen you, and I met you, the first time I met you, was during the interview we had.
Yeah.
And I've not had a chance to say this, but I guess I'm going to say it today.
Yeah.
I've worked for a few bosses throughout my lifetime, and I would say you're the best of the bunch.
Really?
Yes.
Wow, go me. No, I'm kidding. So I appreciate that so much.
You don't just treat people or, you don't just treat the team or the unit as employees. You see them as family, You're like a brother.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
You're not just like the person who just come, hey, get this done. You are chilled, calm, and this makes us want to do more.
I appreciate that so much, Caleb.
So I would say keep doing you. Don't change.
I'll try my best.
So yeah, talking about my fun fact, I'm just gonna say a few. I speak 5 languages.
Wow.
That's. I never knew it was as impressive as that till people started to, oh, really? So I speak English, I speak Chinese, obviously, due to my, presence in China. I speak...
You said, obviously, we should know you're from China, and we should know you know Chinese. I'm sorry, we should have talked about that. Oops!
Yeah, but yeah, the team know that I was in China for a bit, but for those watching, yes, I spent a good period of time in China. I did my undergraduate, that's my bachelor's degree, studying computer science, and I studied that in Chinese language.
Wow.
So it was a bit hard at first, but we'll come to that later, and also, I don't know if it's a fun fact, but I have my master's degree, and I think I can fly a plane. I would say I think, but...
You think you can fly a plane?
Because I've done the simulation, and I passed it 3 times.
I'd rather we not find out, man. Not saying I don't believe in you, but stick to IT, bro. Like that.
So, and also, I would say my talent, something I'm very good at, I'm a very great dancer. Nobody knows this. A lot of people don't know this, but I dance a lot, and anytime I'm sad, upset, or I just need to wind down, I just turn on some, Afrobeat music.
Nice.
And I just, get on my groove. So
there you go.
These are a few fun facts about me.
That sounds like a really good grounding technique. So yeah. Awesome stuff, man. What's one item you wish to cross off your bucket list this year?
Okay, one item I wish to actually cross off my bucket list is actually being fluent in Spanish.
Okay.
I started learning Spanish about 3 months ago. Although I put that on hold because I started practicing and studying for a few certifications I want to get this year. But I want to make sure by December, I'm kind of decent with having conversations in Spanish. So I would say that's something I'd like to cross off my list.
Wow. So you feel as though you can be fluent, you can fluently learn a new language
Yes, I'm very good
within the next 6 months? Or 5
it's
months
gonna
now?
be a grind, but I just need to be very dedicated on
Hey,
that.
man.
Yeah.
Keep me posted. After you learn, maybe you could teach me something. I don't know. So, Caleb, moving into it, where did you grow up?
Okay. I've been to a few places, a few countries in my life, but I was born in Nigeria.
Okay.
And at the age of 3, I and my family, we moved to London, Holloway, by the way. But at the age of 7, we moved back to Nigeria. So Holloway is on the northern part of London. And I continued my schooling back in Nigeria up until high school. And, the culture in Nigeria was a very, different culture than, anywhere else I had been at. And staying in Nigeria, I learned a lot of things when it comes to morals, and, being street smart, because in places like Nigeria, if you're not, you can be the wealthiest man out there, but if you're not smart,
Yeah.
if you don't understand how things happen in the outside world, outside your home, then it's actually gonna be hard for you. You're gonna get cheated on, you're gonna get, played and all that stuff. So I've carried that knowledge with me, to everywhere I've been to, and also the culture in Nigeria is like a very family-oriented culture. You all grew up together. If you're a Muslim or if you're Muslims, you abide by your culture together. You follow that culture, Islam. If you're Christians, you do that, go to church together, grow up in the way of the Lord, according to the Christian way. And whichever way you grew up at, like Christian or Muslim, it just kind of makes you a very different person when it comes to mannerisms, and morals, Because honestly, Christianity and Islam, there's not much difference.
No. Yeah, you're right.
There's not much difference. You just need to follow the way it's been taught, and everything's gonna be,
100%.
right. So
Do you think that you moving to London so young in your life and just having that experience of travel really set you up to your trajectory today?
And moving to London at that time, being very young, there's not much you're gonna learn, because you're still with your family. So whatever you learn over there, you're still taking it back to Nigeria because you're still with your family. Do you understand? So, society-wise, you meet a few young guys, young girls as friends, but then you're so little, so there's not much memories of that. But here's the thing, after my high school, I went back to London, for vacation. So here's the thing, I got a scholarship to play soccer at Bolton.
Wow.
Yes, in the UK. And I also have trials at the time to play football. But because I already had connections with UK and all that, going there was not so hard. I went there to see my uncle at the time and all that. I made a few friends. I have one who is already here. His name is Tyler, and he's in Oklahoma City.
Shout out Tyler.
Shout out Tyler. You're going to watch this video. And after that, I was preparing for my trial. So I went back to Nigeria to see my friends. And then all of a sudden, one morning, I don't know, my inner self was telling me that day, hey, Caleb, today don't go play football. Well, in Nigeria, we call it football. In America, it's called soccer, So you don't get confused.
The whole world,
okay?
Soccer, football, yeah.
So that morning, my inner self was telling me, hey, don't play soccer today. I'm like, I didn't listen. And that day, I went to play soccer with the boys, and I broke my leg.
Oh, no.
That was the beginning of everything.
That was the beginning of your IT career.
Yes, that was the beginning of my IT career.
I'm sorry, man.
It was heartbreaking. I told my parents, After all, my parents didn't even want me to play football at the time. So in a way, I'm sure they were happy that I broke my leg.
Maybe.
They didn't want me to be there. So my dad was like, just calm down, go to school, and I was like, okay, what do you want me to study? I want to be a pilot. Mommy said I shouldn't be a pilot because she's scared of plane crashes. I'm like,
No.
you're scared of everything. And Dad just thought about, okay, my dad was an engineer, and he had his own company, and it was like, just put computer science, I didn't think of it at the time. And I was like, okay, I put computer science, and I wrote the exam, and I got admission into university in Nigeria. So I started going to school over there, but I didn't tell my parents that I joined the academy at the school over there in Nigeria, because I started playing football. My mom was like, you broke your leg, you can't play football anymore. But I was just a bit stubborn.
Yeah.
I wanted to just further my football career and all that. And then some scouts, so this was in the year 2016.
Wow.
Some scouts came to Nigeria, Edo State to be precise, to watch us play football, soccer, okay, just so you know. And that day, we went, we played, and that leg that got broke again.
Oh, no.
Yeah, because I wasn't fully healed at the time, and I tried to push to my limit, and I got injured again. So
Man.
that's when I just, okay.
That must not have been a fun second recovery.
Yeah, it was hard because I was on crutches for about a year.
Wow.
Yeah, because it was my ankle. And that was how my story in IT I started focusing more on school, And I told my dad, okay, Dad, see, honestly, IT, when it comes to science, I want to be a pilot. Mom, you don't want me to be a pilot, but I want to be a pilot. And Dad was like, don't worry, just go to school. When the time comes, you'll be, parents talk.
Yes.
When the time comes, you'll be that. And then, unfortunately, in 2017, Daddy passed away.
Oh, man.
Yes, so you see, my life has been like,
Yes.
and I'm like, oh, man, school, I'm not doing this anymore. I just got discouraged because at the time I wasn't working. I depended on Daddy. And my sister, who is a doctor in China, she was like, Caleb, maybe you should just come to China. I'm like, China? For what?
Yeah.
What's happening in China? You understand? And this is the coincidence that happened, right? I graduated with very good grades from a high school, right? And then there was a collaboration with, I don't know if it's the Chinese government, to take the top students from that school to China to study. Right. So at the time, I got that admission letter, but I didn't take it.
Oh, no.
I'm like, I don't need it for what? I don't want to go to China. I never thought about going to China in my life,
Yeah.
But my sister, being in China, being a doctor, she knew about that, and she called me, hey, okay, you got to come to China and all that. I'll take care of you and all that. You have a scholarship. So,
Yeah. What year was that?
So this was that 2016.
Like right after?
Yes, that period, And then in 2018, I got my papers to go to China, because it's just like almost a year process, I got my papers and I went to China. It was different. I didn't know how to say hello, hi in Chinese. It's just.
So you didn't know a single word of Chinese?
I didn't know a single word in Chinese.
Wow, props to you.
It was like, I even missed my flight because the timing, it's not in numbers. They use characters, for the, itineraries and all that. And I was like, okay, my sister is here. She's going to help me a little bit.
Yeah.
And I started schooling Chinese language. I learned Chinese for 3 months. The first month was hell.
So it took you 3 months to learn Chinese?
No, it didn't take me 3 months. It was a progress. But before you start your main...
I was about to say.
Before you start your main course, you have to study Chinese language like strictly for 3 months.
Oh, okay.
English, hearing, speaking. And after that, you just go in the world and figure it out yourself.
Got it.
That's how it is. And I was failing. The language. I would go to shop, maybe grocery, and this, and she'll build maybe the market lady or whoever is there. And, okay, and we just use hand language, sign language, and all that. But as time went on, I was speaking more, and I tried to be serious. I was focusing on learning the language, and I made a few Chinese friends.
I'm sure that helped going out and like living in the city with people.
Yes. It was actually hard at first, but then with time, I started to blend in, and this is how my life started in China.
Wow.
But then I decided, maybe I should try football again.
Really? Oh, wow. Okay.
But in China is not like a footballing nation. It's more of basketball and track.
True.
And maybe the gymnastics and all that stuff. So it was just like college football and all that. So I just focused more on school.
So you said you tried football out one more time. What happened with that?
I tried football one more time, but it wasn't the same. And every now and then I would feel some pain on my leg, my ankle, and I'm like, there's no point.
No, man, you can't go back home to mama with another broken leg. That's a problem. Yeah. How long did you stay in China for?
So I was in China for I moved to China in 2018 and I left in 2023.
Oh, so you were in China during COVID and everything.
Yes.
Got it. How was that? How was COVID China? I heard there was crazy lockdowns and...
That was the most horrible experience I had in China. It's one of the reasons why I decided to leave.
Interesting.
Yeah, because China became different.
How so?
Pre-COVID, so that's before COVID. The Chinese people were much more friendly to foreigners. They were much more, open. Yeah, there's still some who were very curious, and you're like,
Yeah.
You wouldn't say it's, if you're open-minded and you've been to a lot of countries, you wouldn't see it as racism. It's only those that haven't really traveled a lot and maybe it's their first time traveling abroad that would see that as racism. Some people they're not racist, they're just curious.
They just don't know anything.
Exactly. Yeah. They've never seen someone like you before. Maybe on TV, they've seen that and that, but in real life, they're like, okay, some are scared. So most of the time, you need to give people the benefit of the doubt.
Wow.
You can't just assume.
True.
And you would find that, you find out when you can speak their language, right? They'll be so friendly to you.
Yeah.
But when they say, ni hao is hi in Chinese, and you can't even respond, it kind of pushes them back because they don't want an awkward situation.
Makes sense.
So pre-COVID, it was different. They were much more open, friendly, But during the COVID, I remember how it started. One fateful morning, I was just on WeChat. It's like their Chinese app. And I just started seeing the news. There's some breakout, and nobody really took it serious. Even the Chinese people didn't take it seriously. It was just maybe another day, another normal virus that's just we went out, did our normal thing, and from day to day, we started seeing death tolls increasing and it's spreading. And I was in the school at the time when that happened, and all of a sudden, the schools were shut down, gates were locked, everything was locked. And at the time, my sister was pregnant. In that city, she was pregnant. And
the doctor?
Yes.
Okay.
She was pregnant. So nobody could move. If you want to order food, you order your food, but maybe they'll send a robot to deliver your food to you, or they just try to put it somewhere around the fence or wherever there's an opening, or they bring it to your door. It just depends on the school or the place you're at, And I literally in that period, I saw people die.
Wow.
Yeah.
From COVID or from other reasons?
From COVID and from suicide.
Wow. That was my next question. I was going to ask suicide. It must have been really depressing.
The COVID part, I really didn't see people die of the actual COVID. I saw that through videos. But one fateful day, I was just around the window. So this was the time I left school because I got a special leave to leave school. And, when I left school to go take care of my sister, they treated me like I had COVID.
Wow.
So literally, it was like I was a prisoner. They took me from the school. I was on a face mask. They put me in a van with protection. It was like they were moving me from prison to prison.
With the hazmat suit on.
Yeah. And they took me to my sister's, complex. And thank goodness, the complex was much more of it was not as restricted as other places. So there was a little bit of movement, So I visited my sister and, it was hard because her husband too at the time traveled. So he was on lockdown at the time. So one fateful morning, we were just chilling, I was like, my head was just outside the window. I was on my phone, catching some fresh air. There is nobody outside, in as much as that place was not really restricted, people were afraid to come out.
Yeah.
And I just saw somebody falling from up. Yeah, I just like moved my head right, and I just saw somebody falling from up.
Oh my goodness.
At first, I was thinking it was like an object,
Yeah.
just like, and I just kept looking, and thinking about that is till today.
That's heavy, man. Ooh, I can't imagine.
When I saw that, I'm like, okay, this is much more serious than I thought. And in less than 2 hours, it was on the news. Because I just saw him drop. I didn't know the face, but when I saw the picture, it was gory. It was bad.
That's so sad.
So that's when I actually knew, okay, this is much more serious.
I gotta get out. Like, I gotta go.
So I called my family. I told my sister about it, and my sister was not even surprised because she's a doctor.
She understands.
No, she knows all these things. She was like, where did it happen? Like, you're in your apartment complex. This just happened, And she was like, okay, rest in peace. That's what she just said.
Wow.
Because everybody was already everyone was going crazy.
Wow.
And that's how it happened. And aside from that, I saw the things on the videos and.
So COVID cleared up here back like maybe a year and a half or so. Was it about the same time frame in China, or did they maintain those restrictions for longer?
So it just depended on the place at the time. Even when COVID cleared up, some places were still locked. For example, my school. I graduated in 2022, but then if you're not a student now, you can't come in.
No.
You need your ID, before anyone can come in, go out, But then even like if you're traveling by train, because in China they are known for traveling, by train. If you're going by train, there's much more, scrutinizing and all that stuff.
Checking temperatures everywhere.
Yes.
Devices,
every day you have to do COVID tests. Every day you have to do, and it was very
crazy
tiring.
breach of our rights if you think about it. We just had to listen to it.
Because it would be like 8:00 a.m. You have to do COVID test. And if you don't do COVID test, it's like you've committed a very big crime. Do you understand? Because if you go the next time to take the COVID test and you see that you didn't do it at 8 a.m., it's like a sanction. They just do something, And it was that sad. So even if you're sleeping, you have to wake up at the, time they set for you to go do your test.
So when you finished your school or college in China, was COVID still going on, or was COVID finished?
When I graduated, the COVID was actually the situation had died down.
Good.
But places were still closed. Shops were closing early. Like it just remained different. And that was the time people started to show their true colors. In fact, some Chinese people, they were accusing foreigners of bringing COVID.
And it's so funny, in our media, everything was, it came from China, and their media saying, it came from this, it came from there.
Yes,
media.
That was how it is. It was just crazy. Some of my Chinese friends, the funny thing, some of my Chinese friends even stopped talking to me.
Wow.
Because they started to assume that foreigners.
Wow.
Right? So
that's sad.
It was very difficult. Like living in China, you need a lot of mental strength. Especially going there as a student.
Yeah.
Going there as an international student, you need a lot of mental strength when you have no family, you have nobody. But the good thing is that it builds you.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
It really makes you adaptable, and it's just more like, now you're built for anything. What more can I see? What's the worst I can get?
It's very true.
When that happens, you just.
I was going to actually ask you this later, but since you brought it up, I think it's a great segue. How do you think your experiences in China shaped even your role here at XL Pro today?
Wow, that's a very good question. My experience in China, like I said earlier, it's built me. It gave me the strength to overcome every odds. Like, even when I don't know what to expect, I just know I would overcome it.
Yeah.
Do you understand?
100%.
When I know that, okay, I don't know what's going to happen. But the anxiety is just gone. Like, I'm free.
Yeah.
I just take everything, because you don't know what's going to happen in the next second. That's what life gives you. Do Do you understand? Like you can be sitting here at this moment and the next moment life changes. And that's how it was in China. So you should just expect the unexpected.
Yeah, very true.
Exactly.
Very
So
true.
coming to America and working in this,
Before that, I'm so sorry. Did you come straight to America from China, or did you go somewhere else first?
okay, yes, I did. And the funny thing is that I was actually planning to go back to Nigeria
Okay.
at the time. And in fact, I'd already bought my ticket, packed up all my stuff. And I told my mom, my flight is on Wednesday. This was on Friday, like the Friday before. My flight is next week, Wednesday. And she was like, are you sure you want to come back home? That was the question she asked me. I'm like, what do you mean?
She said, nope.
And she said, are you sure you want to come back home? You want to come stay with me? I don't have food for you. That's how she said it. I don't have food for you. I'm like, what do you mean you don't have food for me? It's not like you're a poor woman. You have business. What do you mean? She was like, you're a man now. I don't have food for you. And I just started laughing. I'm like, Mom, I'll come back to Nigeria. I'll be fine. I've done this. I've worked. I've there and there and there. And she said, okay. And then the next day, she called me again. She said, Caleb, now you're working in China. This was in 2022. Yes, 2022 ending. And she called me. She said, you're working in China. Are you sure you want to start again in Nigeria? Are you sure about this? I said, Mom, everything is going to be okay. Why are you worried?
Yeah.
Like, what's going on? Why are you worried? I'm doing well by the grace of God. All your kids are doing well. Even if it happens to me, I'm going to call my brother, hey, bro, send me money. Why are you worried? Do you understand? And she was like, I don't have a reason to give you, but don't come back home.
Wow.
This is what she just said at the time. But here's the reason. The reason was that at the time, there was a lot of violence in Nigeria, and she tried so hard not to speak about that,
Protecting her babies, right?
Yeah. So I was like, Mom, is it because of the violence? I asked her this. She said, the road is not safe. The road is this. Please, I can't cry a second time. That's what she started to say because, she has lost her husband already, right?
Yeah.
And so I thought deeply about it, So I asked her, why did you now say you don't have food for me? You're doing well, you're doing this, you're doing that, you're saying you don't have food for me. Even if I don't work anymore, I'll depend on you. Yeah. I am your child.
Yeah.
And she said, I understand, but don't come back home. The violence over here is too much.
Okay, so then you went to America then, or you went somewhere else?
I continued working in China because at the time I was working as a software developer at Baidu. I was an intern before I got promoted. And then my brother, I don't know if my brother and my mom had that conversation, but one morning my brother just called me because he's been here for years. He's been in America for years. And he was like, Caleb, why don't you come to America? And I'm like, I'm not thinking about it. I didn't think about coming to America. I'm fine here. Why? He said, come do your master's here. Just come do your master's. I'll do everything. I'll get admission for you. I'll pay your fees if you want.
Oh, it's a nice brother.
Yeah, he's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I was like, he's my brother. I don't want to say no. I'm like, okay. I didn't say anything. And all of a sudden, he started to send me documents. Okay, go fill this, go print this, send to me, do this. And so what was left was just to come to America.
Just getting on that plane.
Just to come to America. Yeah. And it started to sound like, it was like, okay, this is actually becoming a reality. Like coming, to America to further my studies. I didn't think about it. And I'd already promised my boss at work that I'm going to be here. And because at the time, I was an intern and my quality of work, I would say it was superb. So they really liked me and, and all that stuff. And he would always ask me, are you going to go back to your country anytime soon? Like he would just chip that in to know where my head's at, And I'm like, no, I'll be here. And so I started to think, how would I tell him this?
Yeah. You lied, right?
But I just kept working and working, and one day I just summoned the courage, and I'm like, "Yo, my mom needs me." I didn't tell him.
Oh, you use
I'm
your
coming to
mom as an
America.
excuse.
Yes,
Okay.
I didn't tell him I'm coming to America. Like, my mom needs me, and I just, oh, okay, your mom, it's okay. You got to see your family. Are you gonna be back? I said, yeah, I'll be back.
He's still waiting for you right now.
I said, yeah, I'll be back. For sure, I'll be back. In 2 months, I'll be back. Yeah, okay, cool. He gave me, like, signed the papers and all that. He paid me my salary in advance,
Wow.
Yeah. And that was it. I left to America. Here I am. It's a
So I
story.
know if you ever come up to me one day and said my mom needs you, I'm gonna say, Caleb, get your neck out.
I've exposed myself.
Yeah,
Huh?
you just did. I'm kidding. Okay, so you came to America. Then were you in the Dallas area, or where did you move to in
So
Texas?
I got
or-
admission into University of Central Oklahoma,
Okay.
in Oklahoma City. And because of my good grades in China, when my brother applied for me, they saw my good grades, it was a very high GPA, and they gave me a scholarship.
Nice.
And they said I have to meet a certain GPA to maintain that scholarship. Of course, I did, And okay, my first year I didn't pay the tuition, but my brother promised to pay it, so I know that whether I got the scholarship or not, he would have done that. And I got there and I started schooling. It was being in America is the most beautiful experience.
Really?
Yes. It's a lot to say though, but I don't think we have that time, but
So, oh, wow, okay, I'm really excited to hear that. Do you think America is your favorite place you've ever lived?
America is my favorite place. It's actually a very beautiful place. It's just kind of similar to England,
Yeah.
the Western culture. So it was very easy to adapt. And yes, over here in America, they speak English.
True.
I don't need to force myself to learn a new language.
Yes.
But my experiences over here, I think the most challenging part of America was the school.
Really?
Yes. Doing your master's is a different ballgame than your undergraduate,
True.
At some point, I used to think I was very smart, honestly. But when I started my master's degree over here, I'm like, okay, I think I'm going to drop out. Yeah. So at the time I started studying computer science, which is cybersecurity. It was more like mixed. It was more of a concentration in cybersecurity. And I started my master's and I was going to school, and the first week we're already having tests.
Yep.
And I'm like, I'm not ready for this, But because I already had experience in, the world of programming and all that, I was able to catch on. And that was just how I tried to pull through. There was a time I was driving home and I just parked my car just beside the highway. I started crying.
Wow.
Why was I crying? Because school was so hard.
Wow.
I'm like, I'd never experienced this before. Like what's going on? In China, right, they have a grading system. And if you actually get 70%, you failed.
Really?
Yes, it's like you're a doll. So I try to keep it 85 upwards.
It's a lot of pressure.
It's a lot of pressure. But we foreigners didn't really have that much pressure as the citizens themselves. Do you understand? So we've been together, even when we're like writing exams as foreigners, they give us a little bit of, they don't really put eyes like, hey, you cannot cheat, you cannot do, you can. Of course, it's not that we did that, but it wasn't as strict as when they were monitoring the Chinese students, So we always came together, we worked together, and all that. So it was easy to accomplish that goal.
Got it.
But over here in America,
We don't play group projects like that.
it was much more individualistic.
Yes.
And we can have teams, but you only have teams for projects, like, if you're doing all that research and all that stuff, So most of the time, except if you create your own, like, friend groups that are even willing to join you, I would say this for me, because for other people, it would have been maybe easy. for me, I'm a little bit introverted. So meeting people, hey, can we do this together, was kind of...
After seeing your outfit at our last company outing, I would argue you are the least introverted person at XO Pro.
So yeah, that's just how it was. I tried to study myself. I tried to do things myself. That day I parked my car, I was crying. And I called my mom. I'm like, Mom, I think I'm done with school. My bachelor's, I'm good. It's enough, you know. And do you know the funny thing? Before I actually came to America, while working, I was doing my master's in China. I studied my master's
Okay.
in China. You know, so I got to the point of research. So I was already almost finishing when I left China. And then I spoke to my professors, hey, I'm leaving, you know, and all that stuff. And, okay, cool. Since you've done most of the work with your team, project, we'll do your defense via Zoom. So coming to America, I still had to focus on that while focusing on school year.
Wow.
You know, so it
So
was
two different master's programs.
Yes.
Wow.
So it was a lot. And I told my mom, I think I'm done with school. I can't. I've had my undergraduates, I've tried. And she was like, son, there's no going back. You started. Because there's something my mom always said. My mom has a PhD.
Wow.
And she was like, my kids have to be greater than me.
Okay.
That's
a lot to work towards.
Yes. It's kind of pressure, but it's also something to, you know, you're looking forward to something. It makes you, okay, focus, you know. She would say that all through, like, you have to get your PhD. You have to get your PhD.
And you know, I love the relationship it sounds like you have with your mother. It seems like she's the person you go to when times get tough. She's the person you go to when you just want that support, or you just want someone to kind of I wouldn't say reignite that flame, but more or less to get you motivated again, right?
Yes, my mom is like my best friend.
She's your rock.
Yeah, anytime I'm down, I speak to her. You know, whether it comes to personal life, work life, whatever is happening.
Have you told her anything about me?
Well, trust me, she has your picture though.
Oh, yeah. Uh-oh.
Yeah, I got it from LinkedIn.
There you go.
Yeah, when I got this job, I told mommy, okay, your boy got a new job. He's leaving his old company. And she was like, okay. She prayed and congratulations. And, you know, the normal mama's prayers.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say it here, but
yeah.
And she was like, when you start working, send me your, you know, CEO's picture and these and all that. I'll pray for him too.
Hey, I'll take all the praise I can get, man.
You know. And from time to time, she asks me how is work. Hope nobody is stressing you. If anyone is stressing you, do this. I'm like, no, this is the calmest and chillest company I've worked at. And she'll be like, hope you're not lying to me. I'm like, Mommy, you know I'm not gonna lie to you. I'll tell you the truth, you know. Because sometimes she'll call me at work.
Yeah.
So now this is the difference, right? I hope I'm not blowing anything yet though. But when I was working before I came here, right? Sometimes my mom will call me at work. I can speak.
Yeah.
You know, but over here, anytime she calls me, as long as I'm in my office, I can pick the call. And she'll be like, are you allowed to speak? And I'll be like, Mommy, it's not that I'm allowed to speak. It's just that it's you. So it's a quick call. 2 minutes. What's up? I'll talk to you later, you know?
No. Anytime mama calls, you got to pick up, man.
Right.
That's no matter what. No, man, and I love that. And I love that you have someone that you can go to like that. Everyone needs that support system, right? Whether it be a spouse, a parent, a sibling, best friend, it's important to have that. And it really helps with getting through that day-to-day grind.
Yeah.
It's not easy, man.
Yeah.
It's really not. When you started working in the United States, not with XL Pro or anything, but just in general, or you can use XL Pro as well, actually. What was the biggest differences working in the United States versus, say, China or England or anywhere else?
The biggest difference, honestly, I would say the culture still.
Okay.
You know, because China, you know, the Eastern culture in China is different. You know, working in China, right? I felt, because I'm a foreigner, so this is me being honest, right? Because I'm a foreigner, I received a level of special treatment. in that company, like you would feel it. You would know that they are not treating anyone else like this,
Like positively or negatively?
positively.
Gotcha.
I'm speaking based on my own experience. I'm not speaking for someone else. It was more like anything I did. Like I always had a leeway. I always had that, second chance. Let's put it that way. Do you get? And America, of course, we're all the same, right?
For the most
Whether
part, yes.
you're black, you're white, you're yellow, you're green, you're blue, whatever you
Yeah.
are, we're all the same,
Yes.
So if you mess up, you mess up, If you
100%.
do great, you do great,
100%.
They don't really, there's not, in as much as, there's politics everywhere, right?
100%.
But, it's just different. But working in China also gave me that, it gave me the ability to blend with everyone.
Yeah.
No matter what you are, whether your orientation, your background, whether it's whether it's sexual differences or whatever it is, I just came to understand everyone. No matter what you are, I can't judge you.
Yeah.
In China, they are much more preserved and conservative when it comes to their personal lives. Like, if you're this or you're that, it's be hard to say it out. People don't really know, right? Because in China, they're very judgmental, right? But in America, like, people don't care. They do whatever they want to do, right?
For the most part.
So seeing that, there's a little bit of difference. I'm like, okay, you don't see this in China, right?
Yeah.
You don't see this in China, but still, it still gave me that, mentality. You just can't judge people.
Very true.
So that's what I carried with me, from that place to this place, and so far it's been.
Obviously, your family has played a very important part in your decision making and moving throughout the world and such. Do you feel as though you would have been able to make the same choices and decisions and lived in all the different places that you have if not for your different family members?
Honestly, without my family, I wouldn't be where I am at today.
Yeah.
They've been me essentially.
Yeah.
It's like even before I do anything, even if I know yes, this is the right decision, I still at least ask one person from my family.
That.
Even if it's my baby sister. What do you think? So every move I make sure at least there's one person involved. This does not mean I can't make decisions on my
100%.
own, but when you have people around you who love you,
Exactly.
you would want to know what they think,
Yeah.
especially when you make a very bold decision.
And obviously, they have your best interests at heart
Exactly.
too. So, kind of getting closer to the end of our podcast now. What are some different things that you have learned working at XL Pro that you did not think was part of the American culture?
Okay, that's a good question. Okay, so I learned that over here, when you work as a family, when I'm in a family as a team, when you decide to do things together without bias,
Yes.
and all that, things tend to go and flow smoothly.
Yeah.
When there is, a happy mood everywhere, like work just gets easy.
Yeah.
That's what I just realized over here. I can just come to work in the morning cranky, maybe because I woke up too early or I didn't sleep good, and I just go to a colleague's office before I start anything.
Yeah.
I get in there, I check here, so like his temperature, right? Temperature, yeah, is he or she good this morning?
Yeah.
And when I read that temperature, I just sit down and I just have a discussion with the person, maybe 5-10 minutes to clear my head. That alone is just gonna set me up for the rest.
I love hearing that. That's a really good one.
So I think like that's actually something I learned over here, because where I worked before I came here, everyone is on his own.
Yeah.
Except here you have team meetings or you have to do things together, But over here it's like a family.
Yep.
When I say this place is the best place I worked at, I'm not joking.
I love that, man. I appreciate that so much. Thank you for that feedback. What's one piece of advice you would give someone listening today that is thinking about making that move and taking that leap to move or start a program or just go out of their comfort zone?
Don't be afraid to take risks. Always put your best foot forward. And before you make any decision, make sure there is somebody you can speak to. And also make sure the person you're speaking to is somebody that trusts you. You trust. There's a mutual connection between the both of you. And trust me, you know, making a decision 9 times out of 10, it's never the wrong one.
Yeah.
You know, you don't know what you're gonna experience out there till you get out there.
True.
You understand? And when life gives you lemons, what do?
Make lemonade.
Exactly.
There you go. Well, no, man, Caleb, I really, really appreciate you coming on today. I had such a great time learning more about you. And once again, we're just so proud and happy to have you as a part of our team. Thank you again for joining, and
I
can't wait to go to our next meeting now.
Oh, for sure.